Today we got a question from Robert, who's getting ready for a super fight match against a professional competitor when he is a very active but still very much a hobbyist in jiu-jitsu. And so he sent me this message and he's wondering how he can prepare for this opponent that he has coming up. He's pretty nervous about it. And he sent me this message. And so I replied back to him, by the way. I said, hey, what do you mean by professional competitor? Because that can have all kinds of different implications. And he said that the person has won different super fights in dozens of organizations. They have won the pan several times, and they have, instructionals out on the internet and stuff like that. So it's like one of those types of professional, someone that's really deep into this stuff. And so he sends me this message: how can a hobbyist essentially prepare for competing against a professional grappler, right? Someone that on paper should be better than him. And so that's his message. So brother, thank you for the question. I will give you an answer, a very short answer as far as how to prepare for him. But what I want you to think about is this is a unique opportunity that could potentially help get you into a different mindset that could make your competitions better than you've ever experienced before. Here's why I say this. You're nervous about this match, right? That's why you sent me the message. You're sweating it a little bit. It's okay. But here's something to think about. I know that for me, whenever I compete at my best in competitions, and honestly, anytime I jump into just about anything in life, when I'm at my best, I have this weird paradoxical mindset, right? And again, this may not work for you, but it works for me. And this mindset is that I will do everything and I will prepare myself to the best that I can, my best of my abilities, to try to be successful with whatever I do, right? But on the flip side, I completely accept that the loss is going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I know it's going to happen. And when it does, I don't care. I care, yes, but I'm not ate up about it to the point that it messes up my life in any sort of way or messes up my training. Now, I first started getting into this mindset back when I was a white belt, where I remember, let's rewind just a bit, we'll go back here. When I competed early on in jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and everything else that I was doing, I was always worried about losing. I wanted to win so badly, bro. And so anytime I lost, it was this big deal. I really got upset about it. I couldn't learn from the losses properly. And also when I competed, I was always hamstrung and always felt that I could be better out there if I could just not be so damn worried about losing. But for some reason, I couldn't shake it, right? Well, one day, I remember the first time my mind got into this particular mindset I'm talking about, this you want to win, but you're not afraid to lose, was when I was a white belt and I competed against this purple belt. This purple belt the year previously had won pans, or took second place at pans. They had won, some tournaments and stuff like that. And they're a purple belt now, 6 years of experience. I've got about 6 months of jiu-jitsu and then my wrestling experience. So on paper, I should lose. And I knew that, by the way, I knew that they had 6 years of experience going into it because I was talking to the people in the bullpen. And so I go into this match with this guy. And as soon as he walks out to the match, I remember I'm getting pumped up. I'm like, all right, I'm going to win this match, whatever. As soon as I see him walk to the mat, I instantly know, oh, I'm going to lose. There's no way to win this one. I was like, I'm going to lose. So you know what? Might as well just go out there and give him hell, right? Well, I didn't lose. I actually won that match 6-2. Takedowns and basically staying defensive, and so I did pretty well. And then as soon as that match ended, I then all of a sudden shifted back into, I'm going to try to win this thing. And then when I got focused mostly on just the winning and was afraid to lose, sure enough, I lost my next match. And so that was the first time I ever tapped into that. And throughout my years in jiu-jitsu, I've always sort of in and out of that mindset where sometimes I would be in it, sometimes I wouldn't be. And what I noticed was that when I could get into that mindset, I was so much better. I didn't care about the loss, and I was so free to be aggressive and use my technique. And I remember really basically solidifying this as a black belt, was when I got to a position where I know that the losses are going to happen. I don't even give a damn anymore. I don't care. So if they happen, they happen. And this is what's going to happen sometimes. But I will do everything in my power to prepare for those matches and prepare for those competitions. And I will do everything that I can to try to win and show my technique as best I can. And if the loss happens, man, so what? That's it, right? That's that. Doesn't change anything, right? And so when I got to that mindset, when I could really understand that and embody it, my game got so much better. I watch myself compete sometimes now, and I sit back and almost in awe of what I'm doing because I perform better in competitions than I do in the gym. right? And that's the way that it should be. You should rise to that level from the experience rather than it being a hindrance. And again, usually for most people, that hindrance comes from their worry of loss. And so I think this match could be a potentially useful thing for you to tap into that mindset, because right now you're sweating it, right? Bro, you shouldn't be sweating it. Because if this guy's a professional competitor with all these like titles and accolades and everything else, then on paper you should lose, right? And you might lose, and so what? Doesn't change anything, right? It's not going to change your life. You're a hobbyist anyway, right? Like your wife or husband or girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, your kids are still going to love you. Everybody's still going to be your friend. Your training partners aren't going to look down upon you. It doesn't change anything. This is for you, bro, right? The pressure, honestly, is on them because they're the professional and they have this, hobbyist coming at them. And, you can think of that as being like a higher, lower tier thing, perceived anyway. And so the pressure is probably going to be more on them than you. At least I would think so. And so for me, looking at it, this could be a really cool way for you to tap into that mindset of basically saying like, screw it. Let me just go after this person and use my game plan and my jiu-jitsu to the best of its abilities. And let's just see what happens, right? And if I lose, so what? I was supposed to. And if I win, well, it's a nice little feather to put in my cap. And so thinking about that, as far as preparing for the match, actually, it really comes down to the normal basics. You train your tail off. You be very direct with your training, right? When it comes competition time, you better be rolling every single day focused on your game plan. What kind of sweeps are you going to use? What kind of takedowns are you going to use? What kind of passes and submissions? And be focused on your best stuff and drill it and roll with it and constantly keep it in mind. If you have a particular type of rule setting, you should be trying to roll with that rule set in mind. Even if your gym isn't, you just keep it in the back of your mind. Like, let's say that your gym's just having open rolls. You roll with like maybe it's a point-based tournament, for instance. You roll like you're rolling with points. You don't give up sweeps and things like that, right? But I mean, that's basics. Nothing new to you, I'm sure. You do your best to train hard and be focused and go after it. But the cool part is the mindset. When you compete, don't sweat it, bro. On paper, you should lose. So what? If it happens, doesn't matter. But if you go out there and you become very aggressive with your jiu-jitsu, you may surprise yourself with how effective you even are when that happens, when you don't care about it, when you're just going out there and letting your technique take over and letting your training take over. So again, just an idea to chew on. It may not work for you, but that's a mindset that I got from being in matches over the years where I was supposed to lose. And there were more than just this purple belt. I have lots of matches that were like this over the years where I would be in these absolute divisions and I would be kind of the underdog. And it was a fun place to be because then there was no pressure. I wasn't supposed to win, and so I was supposed to lose. And it allowed me to play my game freely. And when you go into it with that mindset, it can unlock some of your potential and skill. At least I've seen this with myself and several of my students. So anyway, I think the point is clear. Hopefully this helps you, Robert, and I'll talk to you next time. Oh, and good luck in your match.